Hello, folks. Welcome back to 3-4 Talk. We're here this week.
Hi.
And we missed you indeed. It's a full set this week. We all dragged ourselves back. We took a week off. Most of us, looking at you, Bain&Chiad, who decided to run a Mirror World show. You crazy lady. And we've brought guests with us as well, folks. Please welcome Koala Sedai and Tari Sedai. Tari Sedai, sorry, how are we doing?
We're doing great, and we even made our own stabby stab.
Oh my gosh! That's amazing! We love it! You're already winning.
Yes, that's it. One, everything done.
Yep.
You know what? That's
great show, y'all.
Yeah. See you later.
Nice to see you. Bye.
10 stabs.
Yes.
10 out of 10.
Yes. Love that. That's so good.
Go us.
Yes. Well, welcome, folks. How did everyone enjoy their week off?
Yes. I mean, I got coronavirus, so no.
Oh my goodness.
Yep.
That's no fun.
But I mean, I have people visiting, so it's lovely that way. And at least I'm not in isolation by myself right now. I'm getting lots of good food, but I definitely did not need the Rona to hit me.
No, this is true.
So I'm grouchy about that.
Yeah, that's grouch worthy. We approve. We already have a question from chat. Random Noman asks, do they stab in the opposite direction?
I love it.
That's great. Oh,
that's
God.
great.
Well, folks, if you're wondering why we all said we weren't here last week yet, if you look back, there's a video. That's because we all took a week off. I was traveling for a wedding. Everyone else was, life gets in the way sometimes. And there was a Mirror World invasion, wasn't there?
I had a very strange dream last week.
Yeah.
Yeah, what happened in your dream?
Just you guys weren't here. Wolves, something about meat. It was all very quite broken. Like it was a fun dream to watch, but I don't remember a lot of it.
That's super weird. I had a very similar dream.
Samesies.
So strange.
Yeah,
Wow.
I had a dream that I was running the show from behind the scenes, and it was like way harder than being on the show, and it was just so surreal. I don't even know what happened. It's like an anxiety dream or something.
Weird.
Yeah, it's been strange. So, but we're glad to be back.
I just remember enjoying that dream so much and feeling
I
so
know.
inspired by it.
I laughed pretty hard at that dream, which is unusual.
Yeah.
I've managed to remember about half of that dream so far. I'm pretty sure I remember the rest of the dream very soon. So I'm told the second half of the dream is the best part as well. So
It was all fantastic.
Yeah, it was amazing. I was so impressed.
yes, definitely. Massive shout out to Wolf Brother 7 and not 8, not 6, Wolf Brother 7. And our Chief Holdy Silvertooth for running the show. So Rama Ravashu and their guest, the Wolf Queen, Jessica Sedai. We appreciate you. We love you.
She was an amazing guest.
Yes.
Yeah, there were so many things. There was you have to go back and watch it, folks. So it's brilliant. And I hear there's some great discussion to be had as well in the second half, particularly. So I look forward to remembering that. But yes, we're gonna have some fun this week, folks. We have lots of juicy things in the Daily Veil for you. We have special guests, so of course we have some Fear the Spear. And then we're going to talk about some things, and as we want to do around here, maybe do a bit of a game or a discussion about. We're doing some tier listing, so yeah, we're gonna have a lot of fun. Welcome to everyone in chat. There's so many names around. This is great. Yeah, I love this, but not 8 laugh out loud. Carolina and the couch is around.
Hey,
Carolina.
Hi. How are you? I miss you.
It is late for you. Yes, Bain&Chiad has met Carolina.
She's amazing.
7. You're more than welcome. Zul's around, Glenn's around, Kari's here, Dragon Snack. There's so many people here, so welcome everybody. But let's just crack into it. Let's kick it off, folks, with the Daily Veil.
Brothers and sisters,
it is time to cover up your face.
For the wheel of time has news, and we shall dance the spears with it.
This is the Daily Veil.
God, I just love that every time.
That's so good.
It is so good. All right, folks, it's Daily Veil time. What are we starting with? Should we do the big announcement first, or should we save that? Should we do the big announcement first?
I don't know. I mean, if we don't save it till last, we won't be able to focus on anything else.
Yeah, let's do it.
Let's do it. We're too excited.
All right, folks. In 3 weeks' time, we have an exceptionally special show coming up for you, because all our shows are special. But we have something exceptionally special, and that is we are I'm getting goosebumps talking about this right now. This is so exciting, folks. We will be interviewing Dr. Michael Livingston live on Threefold Talk. This is like a week after the Origins of the Wheel of Time comes out. And it's going to be full. It's going to be crazy. It's going to be chaos. I'm super excited about this.
I can't even believe it. Is that real?
So special.
So the book will be out, and we're going to try and read it all really fast within like a week.
Totally.
And answer all the questions that he couldn't talk about in anything else, so that we'll be all spoilery in all the senses of the spoilers.
Yes.
And you should come and ask questions too.
Yeah, we want your questions.
We do, yeah. You'll be able to come and ask your questions live. Michael may have to, I suppose, waffle you, because maybe it's something that will come out later. Maybe it's something he just can't answer. Maybe it's something he doesn't know. But you can ask the questions, and we will try and, put them through. So, yeah. Oh my God, I just can't really.
We're so
I still am a little worried. He's like gonna watch our show and be like, "Oh God."
No, this is why we've sent the gin.
Our show.
That's true.
This is a good point. Yeah.
It's not like we hid who we were when we asked him.
I know, Bain&Chiad, you were you were in charge of arranging this wonderful visit. Did you warn Michael?
No, I haven't actually even talked to Michael. I've been communicating with his marketing person, and I did no warnings. I mentioned a little bit about what the show is about and what we do, but no, they have not been warned.
That's fair. Well, folks, the book comes out on Tuesday 8th. It's Tuesday 8th. So you will have 9 days to read it.
Easy.
I mean,
no pressure.
Yeah, it's not like you got anything else to do. no pressure. So
No big deal. No big deal.
I like the suggestion here. Tell him to have a few drinks first, and it will go fine. That's fun. Tell him to drink the gin we're having delivered to him.
Yes,
So
we could do that.
yes. So
I mean, I think we can say that our show will be more unique than any of the other interviews he's given so far.
yes, there will of
You
course
won't be
be
bored.
In the
there'll
most
be a
professional way.
Yes, we are consummated professionals.
consummated professionals. Why do I feel like we need a gift for that or something? Don't we? You know, when we say it, just like ping, it pops up.
Yeah.
Well, I think that's just butt
Kind of
rock.
like butt rock.
Yeah.
Oh my god, there it was. There was a mention for butt rock, so
Ah,
gotta put it up. That's the rules.
Butt rock.
There it is. Where's the video? That's what...
Butt rock.
Love it. There we go. All right, folks. So yeah, come join us 9 p.m. Eastern in 3 weeks' time, and we will be talking all the details from the book that we can possibly squeeze in, and you'll be able to ask your questions too, as many as we can possibly get Michael to answer. Depends how much gin we get him on. So it's good.
Yeah,
It's good
I
gin
mean-
from the look of it.
but be forewarned, like, we're gonna try and spoil that book for you. So you need to try and read it with us.
Read it, please.
Yes. Yeah, I think I might have to put like a special spoiler disclaimer actually in the show to be like, we will not be, hiding anything. Like if
Yeah.
yeah. Like Dana Lou, I'm afraid of a consummated gif.
We all are.
And I reckon, is that like consummate Z's?
I love a good Trogdor reference, so thank you. I did have it.
Yes.
That was very good. All right, folks. So that's the big one. We can all relax a little now. We've been keeping that one under the belts for a few weeks now, but yeah, we're excited. Other things happening, folks. Well, next week, if you are around on Saturday, which is Saturday 5th, yes, Saturday 5th, folks, you will see a couple of Free Flow Talk floating around, because next Saturday is the Twitter of Time Awards.
Dun, dun, dun.
Ooh, I don't have the music. Wait, now you're saying that. Maybe I do have the music somewhere. Do I have the actual video somewhere? I feel like I've got the video somewhere. I'll have to find that at some point. I won't do it right now. But yes, folks, next Saturday, it starts at 8 p.m. Eastern. You can come and join us. We have an amazing selection of presenters. There's a wonderful group of people that are up for awards. And we're going to play some music. There's going to be live voting. There's a red carpet segment like last year. Unlike last year, the Puppet Boys are going to be firmly controlled because I'm gonna have player music ready to play if they interview people on the red carpet for too long.
They're gonna ignore it.
Oh, so they're gonna have walk-off music for their interviews.
Yeah.
As opposed to the people getting the award.
Yeah,
I love that.
and in the presenters, you've got two of your favorites right here, Shelly and Leigh-A. Are gonna be presenting.
Do you remember which award you're presenting? You know, I can see.
I
Shelly's
didn't
face
even know
right
I
now.
was presenting, so yay.
This was a conversation we'd had in the chat. I do remember having this conversation.
You volunteered.
I'm sure I did. That sounds like something I would do.
I think it's the first Watt Timer award, like
Oh,
the
yes.
the new reader award.
Yes.
That's a good one.
So you're presenting the award for the best new reader. Bain&Chiad and Melindhra are up for an award themselves. Much like last year, they've been nominated by you on Twitter for best AEL account. So fingers crossed. There's a 50% chance of one of Three Fold Talk winning. But Bain&Chiad, you won last year, didn't you? You're a defending
I was
champion.
just about to say, vote for Melindhra.
Aw.
Bain&Chiad. Twice the fun.
Nice. So I am up along with someone you see in the chat, which is well, there's a couple Kevs in chat, but it's Kev Angus in chat who was on the show a few weeks back. We are both up for the Wetlander humorist section. I'm confident that Kev will whoop my ass in that one because Kev has been slayed it with the nipple talk recently. So Yeah.
The Tweeter of Chaos? Not.
The Tweeter of Chaos, I think, is up for News Source, if I remember correctly. So, yes. So maybe the Kev's up for two. No, Kev's not Tweeter of Chaos. We've talked about it. All right, folks, and the last of the big things you need to set in your calendar. This is another Saturday, but it's a little bit further down the tracks, folks. You need to come join us on Saturday, December 3rd, because the 3rd annual What a Holiday is happening. We have 24 hours of chaos and fun lined up for you. We are going to be raising money for the Lightweaver Foundation again, and it's going to be hilarious. It always is. There'll be something for everybody. Threefold talk. We're going to do brunch.
Yeah.
Threefold brunch. Yeah.
Threefold brunch. Yeah. So, I mean, we've got a lot to live up to after last year, don't we?
What are you talking
I
about?
think we're going to have to do another drinks poll, I think.
Yeah, I was just thinking. So start thinking of drinks for us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, Mel, do you remember your floppy water tree from last year?
I do.
2 years ago, wasn't
fondly.
it?
Mhm.
No, last year.
No,
Was it
it was
last year?
literally only a year ago.
Oh my god.
We've only been doing the show a year, Leigh-A.
Feels like forever. Oh my
17 years ago, guys, the floppy water tree was invented.
Back in 1990.
The other drink was for your 1,000 viewer.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah, the other one was
okay.
for the that was when you all decided to turn up for sweat tent session. So
Yes.
Jessica Sedai, this is your first World Holiday, so that's exciting. We're very
I
pumped.
can't believe she's only been here not even.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Kev's asking, can he come to Threefold Brunch? I think
You
you
are
need
all
to.
invited to Threefold Brunch.
Yeah.
I'm going to probably ask Kev to cook threefold brunch.
I like it.
Ah.
And see, floppy water trees are already being discussed in chat, so
Yeah. That was a hit.
It's a shame I don't like the floppy water tree drinks. I'll have to come up with something else.
Same. I'm not a big fan of those. Oh,
Yeah.
well.
Really? You don't like drinking the blood of your enemies? What is wrong with you? How are you not
Um,
evil?
I'll dip
wait.
fries in it, but I'm not so keen on drinking it.
do
Well,
it
that's all right.
be
Exactly.
do it be Beth Doman's name day on December 3rd?
Oh. That just adds a
Wow.
whole new wrinkle to this.
Right.
Mhm.
I mean, we're starting late on December 3rd because the committee. So we run actually. It's like 25 hours technically because the committee starts out for half an hour to introduce, get you going, warm you up, and then we hand it over to an array of just content creators in huge perpetuity. Like there's podcasts, there's YouTube shows, there are the Twitter accounts, there's Twitch stream, there's everybody is in there type thing, as many people as we can possibly fit in. I hear there's going to be some water erotica at some point in the very early hours, which might be involving a certain bard of time.
Ooh.
And a certain
Yeah.
podcast located in the north area of Tarvalon.
Yeah. There was discussion that they were going to start us off, and I was like, that sounds like an early hours show, and they were like, yeah, let's do that.
Depends on what time zone you're in, though.
It does depend
It
what time zone you're
does.
in.
Right.
I believe it's still quite early for annual.
That might be smack dab in the middle of the day for somebody.
This is true.
Maybe go
Yeah, let's be
watch
honest, it's gonna be
that
like,
in a couple of
Rob.
arenas.
Yeah, Leslie would be like, Rob, that was 2:00 in the afternoon. I'm not glad no one was
Nothing
watching
like
with
some
me.
erotica for tea time. Nothing like it.
Exactly.
Erotica and scones is like a perfect pairing, I think.
Yeah.
Like this idea.
I mean, isn't somebody in tea time always playing mother? I feel like this works.
Yeah.
Amazing.
It does come with cream, and we know how Mel feels about it.
There we go.
Like,
Wait, did we just get a show you endo? We haven't had one of those for a while.
We have them all the time.
What?
You just don't notice
Yeah.
them because I'm cheap.
yeah. Maybe you're just too busy.
Maybe we're just too busy. Okay. I love it. Last
The
couple
Scones
things.
and Erotica is the name of my new podcast, by the way.
Scones and erotica. Oh my
Scones and Erotica.
god, that just sounds. That's a podcast I want to listen to.
Right?
Shelly, just sell us this podcast right now. We're taking a tangent here.
Scones and
tell us about
Erotica,
your
we're
new
going to drink tea, try scones, and we're just going to mine the best erotica from the internet. And occasionally we'll read the worst of it, too, because that stuff's amazing. awards every year about the worst sex scenes. I don't know if you guys have ever seen them. They fly around on Twitter occasionally, and they are fucking hilarious. Like, look them up sometime.
Like where breasted boobily down the stairs came from?
Yeah, kind of a similar thing. It's like it's the people who like try to write a sex scene and just do like at least Robert Jordan knew and panned a fireplace. These are the people who didn't know.
They didn't have a Harriet. They needed a Harriet.
They needed a Harriet, yes.
Everyone needs a Harriet.
Shelley, seriously, can you and Kev just do this podcast, please?
The Scones and Erotica?
Yes. I will listen to the shit out of this podcast. I'll tell you that right now. Especially Kev's tones. Like, seriously? Kev can do the narrations when you're like, let's read you a transcript from this one we picked this week.
Which Kev are we talking about?
Your Kev, obviously.
Okay.
You can just trade them out.
Yeah, that's just trade them out. I can just swap them in a cycle.
Yeah. You've got 3 or 4
There's
of them
we
at
have
this
like
point.
three Kevins, don't we?
I think
I mean, not
Sometimes
here tonight.
more?
There's, we sometimes there's a third Kevin, but tonight we have Kev Angus and Almond Bunt Kev, or Shelley Kev.
But speaking of poetry, not to tangent us even more than we've already tangented.
Oh, okay.
Have you guys seen the hat poetry that's been happening this week?
The hat poetry?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. Adnan Kadir's hat. He wrote some epic poems. Would you like a recitation?
Oh.
Yes.
I feel like
sure.
Very much so.
Shall I pause the music for a second?
Mm-hmm.
I think so. Let's give this the gravitas it deserves.
Yeah. It's important for everyone to...
That button. No pressure, Mel.
Okay, are we ready?
We're ready.
I'm ready.
Hadnan's hat. Once in the waste, or the threefold land, where there's too much sun and too much sand, a hat that I owned, I still not know how, was taken from me, snatched from my brow. The hat was fine, the brim was wide, its color was dark like me inside. When some young lordling with a penchant for lace took a like to my hat to protect his face. My partner, she saw some opportunities, happiness for him, and yet nothing for me. With her sprightly feet and fingers so fat, she plucked from my head my glorious hat. So I lie in bed haunted by my ill-lost hat, and the bastard that took it, the young lordling Matt.
Wow.
I love that.
That was only part 1. There's a part 2 that features yours truly.
Wow.
It's pretty fantastic.
Okay. I feel like this needs to be an actual piece. I should put the music back on now. It's very quiet about the music, isn't it?
That's by @HadnanKadirWatt on Twitter. And you can search the hashtag Hadnan's hat to find more.
Hadnan's hats. That is brilliant.
That's brilliant.
Yeah. I'm off to find that after the show. That
yes. Yeah, definitely.
Pretty great.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
And your poetry reading, Mel?
Thank you.
Yeah. You're getting a lot of cheers in chat, like fantastic. Can we make this a segment, Mel reading poetry?
Yes.
So now we have One Shelly reading erotica. We have Mel reading poetry. Bain&Chiad, Leigh-A. We didn't ramp. No.
Leigh-A's just like no.
That is stressing me out because I'm just like mildly dyslexic, so reading out loud is very stressful for me because I skip lines, I skip words, I just get everything all jumbled up and just
We need more Leigh-A rants in our life, though.
I keep it. All I can think about right now.
Soapbox and rant.
Sorry, Tari.
Go ahead.
All I can think about right now is someone needs to write fan fiction of how Robert Jordan would have written a sex scene.
I feel like that's a master of the deck needs to.
Yeah,
there, so.
100%.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh,
Definitely.
that would be amazing.
Yeah. Rudy Schultz, only hats or.
Well done.
I'd be really curious how long we could actually go on a hat-themed poem thing.
Well, it's at least double that length thus far. And
Nice.
he has not indicated that it's going to end. So
I love it. Okay, what do we have next? Oh, Wheel of Time was tweeting this week. So let's no, I don't have that. I've got the other screen set up. 1 second. Let me switch screens. All right, folks. This was a fun one for us this week. With the Wheel of Time tweeting out, the horses have spoken. Now is the Trollocs' turn. We're pretty sure this is what the Trollocs were thinking in the moment. But if you heard something else, let us know. Hashtag Trolloc Thoughts. And the thought is, I only wanted a honey cake. So there was a lot of fun to be had with this one, wasn't there?
I think it's all part of some sort of plot. You know, they've been very obsessed with Halloween lately. I don't know.
They have.
I think they might be teasing us to some sort of Halloween reveal. Is it too much to hype for that?
I mean, the Halloween is Sunday?
Monday.
Monday.
Mm-hmm. And I mean, we deserve a Halloween reveal.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll see Matt's hat.
Maybe.
That would, like a costume reveal on Halloween. That would be pretty cool.
Yeah.
That would be really cool.
I do like that idea.
I'll honestly take anything they want to give us.
Yeah. This is
I'm ready.
Yeah.
I very much agree with that. So, okay, I think that was kind of it for like Wheel of Timey stuff. But One Shelly, you once again have brought us some news worthy of the Daily Veil that is not necessarily Wheel of Time.
Yeah, are you able to throw up that link?
I am. I'm able to throw up the article if you'd like.
Yeah, if you want to throw up the article, I'm going to toss to Leigh-A pretty quickly after introducing this, because this really aligns with kind of her From the Sweat Tent themes. But there's an article on Tor.com right now that I think everyone should go read. And it's about the portrayal of fat people in sci-fi and fantasy and how authors are falling down on it a lot of the time. And it goes into things about how in movies, they'll hire thin actors and put them in a fat suit. And they are, there's often like people who are fat are portrayed as villains, or, there's just these certain ways that they're always written. And I was telling everyone here before the show, there was a series I was really enjoying for a while called The Iron Druid. And I stopped reading it just because halfway through, one of his characters was a fat woman who he just portrayed terribly. And, it was just, I was like, I'm not doing this anymore. So I think it's something that it's an article worth reading. It's on Tor.com right now. I think it's very well done. It's very sensitive. It is from a fat person's perspective. And so they tell us a lot about what it is like to read those things from from his point of view. So I highly recommend this article. I recommend sharing it, and I recommend using it to think about fantasy and sci-fi more critically on your own. And so I'm going to toss to Leigh-A because I think this is something she'll be able to comment on too.
Yeah, and it's something that we've actually discussed on this show before. I know we've been fan casting Lizzo as Grendel, who is described as curvy, but a lot of times when people think curvy, you lend more towards the Jessica Chastains, still tiny waists and just buxom, and curvy is more up in the boobs. But yeah, we were just discussing Haddon Kadir, one of the larger characters in Wheel Time, bad guy, straight up bad guy. It is very frustrating to specifically have larger people be typecast as only bad guys or only dopey. So, the Basil Gills, the oh my God, the kid from Harry Potter.
Dudley?
Yeah, well, Dudley's the bad guy, yeah. But
Neville Longbottom?
Yes,
Yeah.
Neville. Wow,
Mm-hmm.
words are not my friend today.
Yep.
But yeah, and just having those be the only two out there, we are constantly discussing that, the Wheel of Time cast is just one of the most beautiful, but they are all in pretty damn good shape. So it would definitely be nice that in addition to having skin color representative, having body size representation out there.
Yeah.
Love that.
And I see people mentioning Vannon in the chat. And I think the issue with the way Robert Jordan describes Vannon is we don't use positive terms to describe fatness. It's like, oh, he sat in the saddle like a sack of potatoes, instead of talking about, the positive things about fatness. Like, there's many ways, like, you're authors, you can use the entire human vocabulary at your fingertips to find ways to describe the beauty of all bodies without relying on things that are back of suet. That's it. Sorry, not potatoes.
Vannon actually is, even though he's quick-witted and good at his job, he's often described as slovenly. When you look at him, you just see somebody that looks like a low-life horse thief, and you don't realize his value because of how he looks. And that is a lot of how fat people are very frequently portrayed. Somebody brought up Fat Amy from Pitch Perfect. She's the same exact, like, she's kind of the Vannon of Pitch Perfect. She's really good in her particular talents, but she's perceived by everybody, by the rest of the cast, and then also by the viewer as this slovenly, not talented. And then when she comes in and starts kicking ass, you're like, oh wow, where'd that come from? Always had it. So I do highly recommend people go, since we almost all have Amazon, go watch Lizzo's The Big Girls, because those women can kick my ass in stamina dancing around the stage. They're extremely talented. The way they move their bodies is amazing. Like, I am not that flexible. Just some of the craziest things they do, and they just happen to be larger people. And then the way Lizzo talks about body positivity and the way you view yourself. If you need a guide for good language on how to talk about people's bodies, that is where to go to get those skills. So, and it's also just super freaking entertaining. So that's So go cheer on our Grendel. But anyways, that is mine and Wise One Shelly's sweat tent talk for the day.
Yeah, I love it.
Go read the article. Give it some love. Share it around, because I think it is something that we should be holding. We've held authors to account on diversity. We've held authors to account on sexuality, sexual orientation, gender diversity. Let's hold them to account on all sorts of bodies as well.
Yes, I agree. So, right, that is it for the Daily Veil, which means it's time to say goodbye to Twitter. So if you're watching on the Twitterverse, thank you. You need to come to YouTube. You need to join in with us here. You need to like the video. You need to subscribe to the channel. You need to put that bell on so you know when we go live.
What channel?
It's the Malkier Talks channel. It's also where you'll see What a Holiday. So yeah, there we go. But goodbye, Twitter. Come join us on the YouTubes. Look at me. I'm impressed with myself there. That was
excellent promotion.
Yeah, I love it. All right, done.
And when you stab that subscribe button, make sure you also stab the notifications button too.
There we go. See?
Thank you, Koala.
Double stab.
Double stab.
More stabs, the better.
Stab some comments.
Yeah, stab some comments. And while we're commenting, I think we should comment on the fact that we have some guests with us this week. Guests from a very, very distant but very, very loved place. So, ladies, what does that mean when we have guests?
Yeah, that's me.
Everyone has a party.
Yay! But what else, Mel?
Oh, fear the spear.
Now we have the intense music. Because it's time to fear the spear.
Oh, Koala looks so scared.
You do look scared. You don't need to be scared. I mean, you can be if you want. That's your choice, but you don't need to be. Not really. Maybe. I don't know.
That was very reassuring.
I was so reassuring. wasn't
Super
it?
reassuring.
You should be a therapist, Rob.
I know, right?
Yeah, right.
I'd be so good. Whilst before we get random with our questions, and also we have some specific questions, especially for you, please, would the both of you kindly tell us your name, society, and clan? And just to be clear, you can make them up if you don't actually have one. It's okay. So.
Oh, me first. All right, so I'm Tari Sedai, and I am from the Serpentine clan of the Genail. Because I'm a bit of a pacifist, not gonna lie, but snakes all the way.
Love that.
I was this close to bringing my pet snake with me, but he's just woken up from his winter sleep and is a little bit cranky. So,
and she was this close to jumping out the door and grabbing a snake that was just climbing up the door beside us just before the show started.
It's true.
And I'm like, it's a wild snake. Does it want you to hug it? So she let it go.
Yes, it does.
All the hugs.
Yeah,
I think they've already won Fair the Spear.
Yeah.
I'd already be like, just from where you guys already be afraid that it was like poisonous and just gonna completely eat you because that's what they do.
No, I knew what kind it was. We're cool.
No, it was a python.
No, it wasn't. It was a common tree snake.
Oh, that one that was on the door. Sorry. Yeah.
You can just hold the snake over there.
I'm really good with marsupials.
Afar.
Yeah, I'm really good with marsupials. Tari's really good with the reptiles.
I can never remember which is which, but the snake didn't offer to answer 3 questions for you or tell you 3 things that were going to happen. Like none of that.
Say no.
Okay. Is it wearing people's skin?
Oh, Jessica slices best to assume all snakes are cranky, and Glenn says Aussies need to know their snakes. Matter of life or death for reals down there. So. And Luke I Jedi says, "Tell us you live in Australia without telling us you live in Australia."
Now we can't play. Do you know where we live? Yeah.
And I mean, Australia is so small; it's going to be so easy to find you guys. Too.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Now we can stalk you for sure. We'll just go where the snakes are.
Yeah. Not the pythons, the common tree snakes. So
yeah.
My snake's a python.
Ah, right. Okay.
Of course it is.
Nice. And Koala, would you like to tell us your name, society, clan?
So my name's Koala, and so for this, I'm not going to be Koala Sedai. I'll just be Koala, and I come from the clan Karvende, which is an amalgamation of Old Tongue words that mean honour the trees. And the warrior society I come from is Indiprovida, which is another amalgamation that means no drink, because koalas don't drink water.
Wow.
But do they drink gooseberry?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. This is amazing.
So koalas have like the most G of all the creatures? Is that what you're saying to us?
Absolutely.
Because they never waste a drop.
They never waste a drop. They never spill it. They are the highest G for water.
That's incredible.
Wow.
Also, I know that John Algen, who runs the Visit Andor Twitter account, he is a big fan of Old Tongue translation, as is Pavara Sedai. They are our 2 cunning linguists in the Malkier Talk server, always discussing Old Tongue translations. I know that tomorrow John's going to be like, "Oh my god, I loved all seeing this," So that's brilliant. I love that. Okay, well, it's time to get a little random with the question now. And to do that, folks, we use our kiss spinner. I don't know. What do we call this? We need a name for what this is.
Chat, give us a name for the kiss wheel.
It's a wheel. It's a wheel. Thank you, Koala.
We could call it the Kissiara.
The Kissiara. All right. Well, let's spin it, and we will run around. So who's going to get this first question? Let's look at it. Bain&Chiad, you are going to get the first question out of the list. So first up, we get 2 answers for every question this week, folks. So it's good. Number 3. Okay. Haven't heard this one in a while.
Shipping at the top.
Yeah.
Does it?
All
Oh,
right.
it still says that. I thought I'd changed that. Give me a second.
All right. Well, while he's doing that, Tari and Koala, how did you each earn G today?
I earned G today by preventing Tari from going and hugging the wildlife.
You protected your
I
daughter.
earned G today by making Mum's dagger because she made a mess of it.
You should have. We should have taken photos of my effort because it was so bad.
So that
Tari took over.
pacifist Jemail is a
can
closet
make
blacksmith.
daggers.
Is that what's happening here? You are challenging all of my expectations.
That's a lot of G.
Look,
Yeah.
It is
a
It is.
pacifist. But if there's consent involved,
We're all about enthusiastic consent here at 312.
Very
Yeah.
much so.
There we go.
then stabbing's
All right.
okay.
One of the things about ideal weapons is they are multifunctional tools. So it's not just for killing like food are. So like pacifist could.
Exactly. Every pacifist can still make a good dagger.
Because they're handy
is
for
true.
so many things. Not just stabbing people.
Yep.
So much
Stabby
room for
stab lots of
activities.
things. Stab a loaf of bread.
There we go. Stabby stab a loaf of bread.
I
I
love
love this.
bread. I could crush a loaf of bread right now.
It doesn't sound good.
Between your thighs?
Probably.
With consent.
This is. That means
How
You're
stale?
welcome.
How stale? These are the questions I have to answer.
how stale.
You don't want to put a crusty loaf of bread between your thighs. Though.
I mean, if you're wearing protection, what you put between your thighs is kind of irrelevant.
You just don't want a yeasty roll between your thighs.
Yeah. Sage advice. Sage advice.
Are you putting sage
Look at
in
Rob.
your thighs too?
Sage.
Sage. It's aromatic.
I don't know, Rob. In here in the Madlands, that's what we would call it went down the gurgler real fast.
I feel. Yep. I get that.
Is that where you also put the snakes when you're done with them?
No. You let them go.
Oh.
I think it's time for another question.
So here, Kim just handed me a loaf of bread.
Kim just handed you a loaf of bread.
Is it crusty?
Put it between your thighs.
Come on.
But ask
I gotta
for
eat that bread
first.
later.
All right, so
A little bit.
oh, I love it.
I was literally just messaging to tell him there's feelings cheese in the fridge too, because
I love Kevin here at the other Kevin chat. We know cheese can stop a sharp blade. Like, where is chat going with all of this right now? Right, Leigh-A, your question. Let's have a go. See what we get.
I'm really nervous now.
All right, number 5. Where's the mouse? There's the mouse. Number 5.
If you could pick one, what Wheel of Time character would you take with you to guard your back during a raid on another clan fold? Of course, I got the long one.
Wait, Leigh-A, you complained you
did
got
it.
the long one?
You did great.
Short answer.
She's best at handling long ones, so just
Right.
There we go. See.
oh, it's that kind of day.
So, Koala, who would you choose?
Ruach.
Nice.
That's a great.
Good
answer.
choice.
Like that. Harry just likes it. And Tari Sedai?
Avienda. She can channel as well.
Okay.
Good choice. I was tossing between those two, so there you are.
Yeah, I love it. Okay. Well, that one, I'm going to move on quick before we divert that one away to something else. And this one is Shelley's question to ask. Hey, we are bouncing around today. This is great. I love this.
All right. So, what is your usquai of choice?
If we're doing shots or
however you want to take your usquai, we're not going to judge. IV, shots, pints, schooners, whatever.
Between your legs.
IV.
tequila.
Yeah.
Tequila.
Nice.
Ooh.
Good choice. Good choice.
Overproof rum. You can tell I'm an Aussie.
If you can't light it on fire, it's not worth drinking.
You got it.
There we go. I like this. Bain&Chiad enjoys a little dabble with the tequila now and again.
I actually have some in my mug tonight.
There we go. Oh, there we go. I love it.
I had the Foldies help me buy tequila for one of our things, which oddly I can't figure out why I've forgotten what it was for. But
Was it our 6th month?
Oh, was it the we had an usquai tasting with Mary and Paul.
that's right.
Oh, that's
I will
right.
never forget
That's
that because of
right.
the penguin tequila.
The penguin tequila.
Penguin tequila I've
Desert
never had, but
penguin.
it's now my favorite.
Right. Wolf Brother 7 is asking if I love this, Rob. I do love this.
I've got a
drinking
tequila that
fake
you would
tequila.
swear. I've got a tequila that you would swear is Wheel of Time. The label on it is dead set matte heading into the last battle, isn't it? It is
Yeah.
like
Sort of.
amazing.
Sort of.
You should
It
post
is-
a picture of that
Can you
later
show
in the
us or
Discord.
something?
I will.
See that.
I will. I'll post a
see that.
picture. It is, it's amazing. And it's pretty fine tequila too.
All right. I love this.
Bonus all around.
Melindhra, your turn for a question. Where are we going today? Back to number 4.
Okay. What notable person would you take, Kaishan?
From the real world or from the books?
However you want to read it.
Whoever you
However
want.
you want. Yeah. Whoever you deem notable.
Ooh. Gee.
Henry Cavill.
Oh.
That's a Robin rattle.
The original butt rock.
The
Yes.
original
Yeah.
Cavill.
He's the
OG
Cavill.
pup. Yes.
Mhm.
Do you still have that original picture? It's probably long lost.
I still have that
take-
original picture somewhere, actually. Give me a whole second.
What do you think, Koala?
Didn't we,
I'll have
like,
lamb.
Butt Rock was going to be
Lamb?
Carnival Metal?
I'll have
Kaval
lamb.
Matal, yes.
Land.
Koala, did you just say
Okay.
Lan?
I did.
Yeah. So
I'll
we
take
got
Lan.
Lan, and we got Henry Cavill.
We got
I mean, I
both
feel
butt
like
rocks.
these are ladies of particularly good taste.
Exquisite taste. Yes.
Here we go, folks. Back in the day when we didn't have a butt rock to discuss like we do these days, we had this butt rock.
OG Butt
Why
Rock.
did we pick Henry Cavill? Let's do a
And
tangent
why
right
that
now.
photo too? Because it's an ab rock photo. with
That's
a
an
butt
ab rock.
I
Well, we
don't
didn't have a
understand.
picture of his butt,
Definitely.
did we? So
Yeah.
I
think we
remember where this
searched-
came from.
Far and wide for a picture of his butt, but couldn't find one.
Yes,
there was
I
much
remember
research
doing this.
happening.
Yes,
It was-
so this comes. So obviously, Master of the Deck is a massive Henry Cavill fan, and yeah, I think we like the butt rock came up somehow, and then we were talking about him, and yeah, it just sort of progressed from there. I think, didn't it, Mel?
Yeah.
But I also agree with Tamara. Why wouldn't you
Rewatch.
Rewatch, yeah.
I think it's because he's always been my pick for Galad, even though he's too old now.
Mm.
But
Yeah,
I will say his
I love Catamelon. There. Do you know? Did we ever apologize to Catamelon? I think we
last
did
week.
in the
Or no,
we did
something.
the week before. We weren't here last week. The week before. Yes, Catamelon. Abs and butts are very similar. This is very true. So,
and his pecs look like a butt. Let's be honest.
yeah.
I mean,
that was.
That's what Kat said. Yeah.
they're very
is-
sculpted. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay, my turn for a question now.
You said, did we ever apologize to Catramelon and then promptly forgot to apologize?
No, because everyone said yes. Everyone said yes.
Yeah,
we
no,
did.
because you had. Yeah.
There we
I
go.
was clearly listening.
All right, my turn for a question. What are we going to be asking this time? We are asking you question 12. Ooh. Question 12. Who in the Wheel of Time do you most want to stabby stab?
Oh, how do you choose? Oh, a parent.
Ooh, no, it says parent.
Bold choice.
I
Uh-oh.
love that.
Look at
Tell us
Rob's
why.
face.
We're about to get kicked off the stream.
No, tell us why. I'm
Explain yourself.
In the nicest way possible. Yeah.
Your gentle stab.
Are you saying you want to stabby stab him in the way that we like to stabby stab? Is that what
I'm
you're
not
saying?
sure.
Oh, I love it.
Those are the best ones.
Now we can just leave that as a mystery.
Okay.
I love this right now.
I'm happy with that. I don't need to know.
I like
It's amazing.
I love the way kids, you're like, how do you jump parent? You know, like.
And that's how my brain works.
Love it.
Love it.
Well, now we know her type.
Yeah,
That's good.
love it.
Okay, so mine is 2 on.
All right, yeah, Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
Melindhra approves of that one.
yes.
100% thumbs up for the other reason, not the same reason that Koala chose, but the real reason.
We all know
Convenient.
Nassim was the right answer.
That is
Yeah.
great. Oh, I
Those
love
were
that.
both fantastic actors.
They were good answers.
Yeah.
I'm a big fan.
Okay.
Do we switch to the questions we have
Yes,
designed
we do.
just
We
for
have
our
3
guests?
specific questions for you, and then that will be Fear the Spear. We might be running long tonight because this is just. we're
It's
having
fun.
fun. All right. So there's 4 of you ladies who we have 3 questions. So
I'll ask the
someone's
one I
not-
suggested.
I'll do
Okay.
the one I suggested.
okay.
I'll do the one I suggested.
Now I'm starting to fear.
Okay. I need to just double check the chat. Who suggested?
Let
which
me be
one?
last.
I know that which one Shelly suggested. Okay. All right. Okay. So, Bain&Chiad, you can go first. Because that's the first on the list, actually. Here's
Okay.
your.
All right. So, what's the best part? You've both read The Wheel of Time. What's the best part about sharing The Wheel of Time as a mother and daughter?
We've just become so much closer friends, I think. And it's really nice.
Aw.
Yeah.
Yeah. For me, I think when we were reading the books, because we both started reading at the same time in the year 2000, and Tari was 13 at the time, and we really didn't talk about the books much. And since the show was announced, like about one of the main things was Tari would say to me probably 3 or 4 times every year, I hope they make a TV show. They've got to make a TV show. And when it finally got announced,
I had the flu so bad. Like, I had been dying on the couch for like a week and I couldn't speak. But
That's right.
Yeah. But I found out and I just had to call her and she answered and I'm like, Mom, I'm dying.
Oh.
And she couldn't figure out what I was trying to tell her and she was so worried.
yeah,
Yeah.
but that's what has really brought a lovely layer of our relationship together. It has been since the show got announced and we started getting excited, and Tari is the one who got me into the online fandom. and that has just don't even start me about how amazing that has been for me. And now doing these cards of time together, that's probably the biggest thing for me, is that I do a lot of stuff alone because I live alone. And so, getting to share all of this stuff with Tari is the absolute highlight of my life. And can I just say one more thing? A comment went through about someone who said they shared with their mother, and it was a real highlight. The funny thing is that it's my older daughter. That's it. Thank you. It's my older daughter who originally gave us the first swap book. So she had left home and was at university. And the first time we went to visit her at the place that she was living at, she said, "Here, Mum, read this book," and handed me the copy of The Eye of the World that I've still got. So it's, and now I've got her daughter is 14 years old, and she's just started reading Eye of the World. So I've got the next generation coming through. Yay.
That's
awesome. Wow.
That's an amazing story.
I think you guys just broke Chad.
Yeah, Chad is wasting a lot of water right now.
I'm nearly doing the same.
Okay. Well, now we have Shelly's question, which might not have quite the same amount of wholesome answers.
It's a palate cleanser from all the feels.
Palate cleanser.
Yeah.
This is true.
Love it. This is how we roll. All the extremes.
This is.
We once had another Aussie on here, and we asked him this question. So now we want to know your opinion. Which is more dangerous, Australia or the Blight?
Australia.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's why we live here. It's an adventure all day, every day.
I can give you a little anecdote that will very clearly illustrate this.
Better than you trying to hug a snake? Sure, I'm here for it.
Yeah. Actually, better.
That's just another Tuesday.
Yeah. So I work in a pet store. And we had a customer come up to the counter to purchase a box of crickets to feed their reptile. And I had to be like, actually, maybe I'll just put this one aside and you can go get another one. Because in the box of crickets was a gigantic female redback spider, just living her best life, eating all these crickets.
What that is, but that sounds really scary.
I'm guessing that's like a
that's
deadly,
one of our
very
most deadly
venomous.
spiders.
Yeah, I know what
That's
that
one
is.
of our most
Super
deadly.
venomous.
Yeah.
And to top that off, I wouldn't let anyone throw it away or hurt her, and I brought her home and I let her go in my garden.
And that's my daughter.
Oh my god.
So proud.
That's a ramen powder right there.
So yeah, definitely more dangerous than the Blight. You could die in a pet store.
You can die.
Just let the trollocs come in and I'll let the ticks kill them all off.
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Wow.
Absolutely.
A couple of people have mentioned this, and I feel like we would be bad hosts if we don't. But somebody said something about drop bears, and I feel like you need to explain this.
Don't get them started.
Yeah, so Glenn mentioned it earlier, so apologies, Glenn. We just couldn't bring it up in chat at that moment, and Steve A's just put it back in again. So two mentions from Steve and Glenn there.
Look, I'm really glad you brought it up, because it gives me a great opportunity to educate that drop bears are the best kept Australian secret, because we all know they don't exist, but we have the most hilarious times scaring the living fucking shit out of everybody.
I lived in New Zealand for like 7 years. I never once heard of a drop bear. What's going on?
However, I will say, if a koala ever did fall out of a tree and onto you, you are in serious trouble, because their claws are about this long and curved, and I have seen their teeth go through hands. So we have to be highly trained to handle koalas because they are wild animals, but they do not attack people. But oh my God, it's fun.
Okay. So I heard something related to drop bears, and feel free to tell me.
Sorry, you can't be telling people that, Koala. I love that. Yeah.
Sorry, Kev. No, it's only between us. It's just family. It's okay.
Okay. So I heard something about how, like, if it gets too cold, they wait. Nope, that was iguanas. My bad.
Yeah, you're bad.
The same thing, Mel. Totally the same thing.
Yeah,
Completely related.
I don't know how, like, in my head, I was like, oh, I know what drop bears are. They're koalas that get too cold and they freeze and then they fall off the trees. No, that's iguanas. Iguanas do that. My bad.
I love Kev's in chat right now, like, drop bears are real people.
I'm just picturing an Avatar: The Last Airbender, one of those animals, a koala iguana or something like that, or a koala. You know how they mush two animals together to make something extra cute?
Yeah.
Dragon Snacks makes a good point.
That's how you would make a drop bear real.
Well, of course, we would use a goanna, not an iguana. We would merge the koala with the goanna, because then at least it would still be Australian.
I feel like you have just created a new art and potential piece for
Koala.
Koala.
A koala.
Yeah,
I'll do you a graphic.
Confirm that because I lived in Florida and that is
There you go.
Iguanas are not native to Florida. It's all the idiots who get iguanas and let them loose because they get too big. They're not one of those animals that conform to the size of the tank. So it's actually an invasive species in Florida.
They
actually have iguana
animal
hunt, so you can go hunt iguanas and then they'll hook them up. So
now we have a reptile expert here who would just like to say
that's not a thing.
Conforming
but
to the
let's not spoil the fun.
Yeah, they go to the conditions they're in. So if they're in a tank that's too small, chances are they're probably not getting everything else that they need: nutrition, heating, lighting. So they're going to get stunted. But it's not. Correlation doesn't equal causation. I could go on.
Why do I feel like there needs to be a special Wheel of Time animals show now?
Oh, I would be there.
We'd be there.
Yes.
Yes.
I would be there. I would be a fact checker. 100%.
It's a day. It's a day.
I want to do this. Can I just say the summary coming out of this is: don't buy a fucking iguana unless you know what you're doing.
Yes.
Or a koala.
And also be bloody careful when you buy koala.
These most wild animals.
And crickets.
And apparently crickets.
Yeah, be careful buying
crickets every time now.
Only in Australia.
True.
I love this. It's like a what creature feature.
Okay, 100% there for that.
Yeah, we are down for that.
Perfect.
I love this. Okay. This is probably the longest Fear the Spear we've ever done, but I'm
amazing.
I'm so sorry.
No, it's
amazing.
Wonderful. Don't be sorry.
Okay, Mel, you have the final question.
Yes.
Of Fear the Spear.
My question's a bit of a segue.
Oh, you are so
and
professional.
Tari, how did you come up with the trading card idea?
I will let you do that.
You're not going to start it off? No?
No.
We're very professional at bouncing that off each other too, aren't we?
Just like us, yes.
The start of it was when Jordan Con happened. Tari phoned me and she said, we have got to get over to a con. We have to. We absolutely have to. And me being the mum goes, okay, we'll make it happen, because that's how I roll. And I guess the biggest issue is that Tari is really funds limited. And we started talking about maybe there are ways we could get the what fandom involved, and maybe even get them keen in helping Tari get over to the other side of the world. And so we went on this meandering journey that turned into what could we do that would become part of the fandom that no one's doing. And somewhere, I can't even remember which one of us plucked the trading cards out of the air, and the next thing we know, we had 100 million ideas.
Spreadsheets and
we've got spreadsheets.
You're talking ladies' language now. Shelly.
Yeah.
And look at them all. This, see.
And Nerdsville just took off, and we were in it, and we were running.
Yeah.
And so that's how it started. Because we hadn't seen, we're not seeing trading, nobody was doing it, and we really wanted to do something that we felt, was not replicating what somebody else was doing. And they had me at spreadsheet, and so. I think that I've kind of ended up constantly saying now, it seemed like a good idea at the time, and it takes way more time than I thought. But it's hilariously fun.
Are you enjoying doing it?
So much.
Yeah, we love it.
Yeah, enjoying it just so much.
Yeah.
That is great.
And everyone's been so supportive and sharing them and commenting, and it's just been really fun.
Yeah, we're actually stunned. I can't tell you how nervous I was. I have a lot of anxiety anyway, and I can't tell you how nervous I was on the day that we were releasing the first cards. I was, nearly beside myself, because it felt so like, I don't know what the word is, like, that I was going to stand up and the whole world was going to see me. And I was just so nervous, and everybody just like went wild, and I couldn't believe it, and so we've had the most gorgeous reaction to the cards, and I've got a few things that I'll sort of talk about, some of the interaction that we've had that has meant so much to me that it's the best thing we could have done.
Yeah,
I love that. That's wonderful. Beautiful. Well, that is a beautiful way to round out Fear the Spear, and now we can shed the intense music. Once again, the calm of threefold talk has arrived.
Yay!
Allow your senses to unwind, folks, with a soothing
butt rock
to cleanse the palate. Ladies, I think it's an obvious answer here, but did our guests survive Fear the Spear?
2 spears up.
2 spears up.
They killed it.
Yes, you really did. Rabbit rattles. I love that. I don't even need to ask chat, because it would be 100% yes. So
it better be 100% yes.
Yeah.
Or we'll stab you the way that Tari likes to stab Tuon.
Yes. This is true. So
with consent.
With consent.
Well, I'd have to say that I would have only stabbed Perrin with consent too.
Well, clearly.
Clearly. Well, are we back to that things you don't need to know about your mother thing?
We didn't really think about the consequences of having like a family on the show together, because usually we talk like this, and we don't think anything of it.
Y'all thought it was hilarious when my dad was in the chat.
Yeah. And Rob's mom.
Rob's mom.
I knew that was going to be mentioned.
Because the funny thing is, like your parents are so naive and innocent, they wouldn't, they never did anything. So you've got to be really careful, haven't you?
Yeah.
My parents grew up I grew up with them being disgusting and talking, and like the first time I realized when my mom said, when we're having hot dogs, she's like, I love it when you make your hot dogs for me. And it's like, I
have to say, I have a a teenager, and I've been thoroughly enjoying like the awakening of the realization that the way and me in real life Matt Cawthon talk to each other like all the time is just completely ridiculously dirty, and like the kids just have no idea, but like the teenager is starting to like pick up on it, and he's just like, do you say this shit all the time? And we're like, all the time.
It's like when you watch a kids movie as an adult that you first watched as a child, and you're just like,
yeah,
huh?
Yeah. It's been really the like eye-opening awakening has been so fun.
That is great. All right, let's talk cards. We segued into it, but yes, we are here tonight, folks, to eventually get around to talking cards, because this has been a great show. So this has been so much fun. But Koala and Tari, where should we start with the cards? You've already told us how you came up with the idea, but you sent us you sent me copies of all your cards. Is there ones that you want to talk about initially, or how would you like us to kick this off?
She's the organized one.
Oh yeah.
Okay, right.
So I'm prepping for the show, and Tari says, "I'm just gonna,
I'll just wing
roll
it.
with it. I'll just wing it." And what that's going to mean is she's going to go, "Mum, you answer."
So what I'm hearing here is Tari is like me when it comes to the show, and Koala is like everyone else. Like, Rob, here's a spreadsheet. Rob, here's this. Rob, here's that. And I'm just like, sweet, I'll wing it. So.
Look, I got up at 5 actually and drove 2.5 hours. That was my prep.
Wow, that's
Wow.
You
Just for us?
yeah,
Yeah.
That's
Much
what you were
tea.
today.
Study
I'm
point.
honored.
Yeah,
yeah, definitely.
So maybe if you want to throw up the Dana card.
The Dana
Rob.
cards,
yeah,
Yeah, we love
the
Dana.
we do love.
Yeah,
Dana.
the reason I've chosen that to throw up is that that's card number 17, right? So we're 17 cards in, and that's the card that has had the most comments and conversation that has come out of the release. So I found that really interesting, because for book readers, like she's not from the book, even though I absolutely loved her character. So that was really fun, releasing that card and then getting lots of conversation about her. And it's a pretty okay card. I mean, she's just gorgeous, isn't she?
Yeah, definitely.
She's amazing.
Yeah.
I love that you picked the picture with the braid.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I was gonna say, if I was making this card, sorry, go Koala.
No, say Rob.
I was going to say, knowing because of Threefold Talk, if I was making this card, I would have picked the picture of her getting stabbed. That might not have been quite the same effect on the card.
That would get talked about for other reasons, for sure.
It would, yes.
Look, that just made me think that could become another limited edition set of the cards. Could be, the actual dying shots,
like a death card series.
Yeah, a death card.
Those can be your foil cards, right?
Oh,
Yeah.
yes.
Get it?
Yeah.
Get it?
Yeah.
Absolutely get it. And our stabby stabs look so good because they're covered in foil.
Indeed. Indeed.
It's a really interesting part of the process is even like choosing the image. So as you might notice, the cards have got all the different sections to them. So we have to pick every part of the card, and just choosing the image, I find, is for some characters it's more difficult than it might feel, because you've got to really think what is the image I want to portray of that character. And the Amelisa card, Rob, if you don't mind throwing that one up.
Yeah,
interesting.
I was just looking at that one actually.
Yeah, interestingly enough, that's the one that I've had the most reaction to from an idea of why did you choose that image?
Love it.
And yeah, and I chose it because I knew I could bring out those highlights of the crackly bits starting. And I chose a spot where it was only just starting in her, you know, not with the eyes burned out, sort of like if we do a death card series,
yeah,
it will be, you know, the really bad parts. But that was really interesting to me. So I'm really here for all of the comments and suggestions that people can make, because it helps me make those choices. So sometimes Tari throws in what she thinks should be the image, but a lot of the time that's kind of my part of it. So Tari does a lot of work on the facts and the quotes and all of the background
and what
behind
like
it,
icon to
and
use.
the what book icons. So that's where our spreadsheet comes in, because in the spreadsheet, of course, we've got all different columns for the different parts of the card. And so we've got lots of cards that are in different stages of progress at any one point. But yeah, I can find choosing the image can be quite difficult, because some of the characters that have got quite a bit of screen time, it's like, oh, you know, which is the best. And sometimes I do go for places where I can find a good resolution image that I can just use. But some of the cards coming up that are characters who don't have much screen time, you've actually got to screen grab off the video, and then that tests my Photoshop abilities, I can tell you.
Okay, so I did have a different question, but this has led to another question instead. Now, how many cards do you have in the works? You've released 20, is that correct so far?
Yes.
You've released 20, but like, how many more cards? You don't have to know exactly. You can give us like a rough approximation, but how many more are you working on to release at future dates?
I'm glad you said we don't have to know exactly, because we don't know exactly. Because we keep coming up with, now you've just given us a whole death card, right, idea. So those cards that we just saw a couple of, they're the general series, and they're going to be the easiest cards to get a hold of when we are at a con with printed cards, and there will be 50 of them. Then we've got a limited edition series that will be made up of content creators and of the photo competition that we did at WhatCon, etc. And we're not sure how many of them there'll be, because, you know, we've got 5 new content creators from this show that we're going to be looking to create cards for as a thank you for being here tonight.
Oh my God.
We don't have to do that. We can be on one card.
Yeah, put us all on one together.
Yeah, one card. Yeah.
Well, it's really hard because they're portraits, so it's really hard to, you know. Anyway,
I'll Photoshop us all into a portrait pose.
We'll talk.
We're good at
we'll talk about all of that.
Yeah, we can get one of those 80s holograms where as you turn it, it becomes different faces.
Yeah.
Yeah, that sounds easy. Yeah.
Which one of us is the bottom?
Sorry?
No,
You don't want
don't
to
worry about it, Koala.
Who's going to be on the bottom?
If you have to ask now.
Yeah. Then
I think we know who wants to be on the bottom.
So moving on, my next question was, do you each have a favorite card of the ones you've released so far?
My favourite so far is the door drill. I really enjoyed that. So that's another limited edition. I don't think I sent you that one, Rob.
Yeah, I was just looking. I'm like,
just
I don't
thinking,
a door drill one.
Right? It has to be one, doesn't there? Right? It just has to be one that I missed.
I mean, I've got quite a lot of cards sitting here to put up on the screen. You got
shitload of cards, and yeah. So that's the first card in a pre-season 2 limited edition that we've been doing. So the Dordrol is my favourite. What about you?
Nynaeve. She's my girl.
There you go. I got that one.
Look at her.
She's just so beautiful. Look at her.
Mm.
Very much so.
And so while you've got that card up, you can see that there's quite a few elements to it. So we use the book icons, and it was interesting because one person did make a comment at one point saying everything on the card is about the show, and then you've used book icons. And the reason we did that was because that's how we tied the show back to the books, right? Everything else on the cards are for the show. But the show, of course, is tied to the books. And so, I don't know why Tari's laughing at me. And so we use... Tari has got her phone and she's reading chat. I'm oblivious to chat.
Lord, Ken.
Yeah, I'm oblivious to chat. I'll
be glad.
Rob just got there.
I'll rewatch the show later, and I'll be able to just watch the chat. So we really enjoyed. Actually, each card probably takes a lot more time to create than what people might think, because we actually put a lot of thought into each bit. And you might notice that we are giving a shout out to Everyday Negroes for their gorgeous nicknames. So where we could find a nickname that they use, we've used them, and where we couldn't, we've had to start inventing our own nicknames.
I mean, the first one I thought of was obviously the first card, Sister Strongjaw, as they've named Leandrin.
Best nickname.
Yeah.
So good.
Pretty impressive.
So good.
Yeah. What are the ones, feel free, I'm asking all the questions now, by the way. There are 4 other people on the stream here with me, so feel free to ask questions.
You're doing great, Rob.
Keep
it up.
What are we got 400 people on the stream?
No. Or other people.
I was like, wait, 400 people are watching? Where did that happen?
I would have actually done my hair if I ever expected numbers like that.
Yes. And through the magic of someone else having mod powers in StreamYard, we have Dordrol. Ta-da! Thank you, Bain&Chiad.
That is so impressive.
Yeah.
That is so impressive.
So creepy and amazing.
So
Yeah.
Yeah. And
it's very super.
Just to help you kind of know that we're serious when we say that we are looking at printing them, and we're aiming for WhatCon next year, is that we've been doing some test printing, looking at color, how the colors are printing out, etc.
Wow.
So you can see, so we've chosen the printer that we're going to use, and they're all being printed on recycled paper, which is extremely important to Tari and I, as environmentally aware people. And so another thing about what we release on Twitter is that is always edition 1, and in a way it's a draft, because we do get some great feedback at times from people, and they might pick up a little mistake, like the Pattern Fame card we released. The old save as get you at some point, and I had not changed what episodes he appeared on. That is a correct card that you've got now. I have the cards I've given to Rob have all been corrected, so we had made an error there on which episodes he appeared in. So it's really great getting them out there, because when you're doing a project like this, you get too deeply inside it, and suddenly somebody looks at it with a fresh eye and they just immediately see something that you think, how did I not see that? And I'd like to give a big shout out to Sarah Nakamura, because she has given so many really helpful feedback comments on the cards.
That's
and
cool.
I know, right?
That's
and
so cool.
it is like it's just so lovely to know that she's looking at them and enjoying them and saying things. And it doesn't mean that everything everyone says will be taken on, but it's, you know, it's just fantastic that people can pick things up and say things, and helps me look at them all in a different way.
Yeah,
that is beautiful.
That's
and like Jessica Sedai saying, it makes me happy as well that Sarah's been seeing them and, you know, giving you feedback. Like, how cool is that?
Right?
Yeah.
I can't even imagine if they, like, if she showed the production team or something, like.
Oh, I'm sure she does.
I bet she did.
Yeah.
And then I'm like,
Crazy.
I bet when she goes to production team, be like, see, look, these people take my feedback when I say this. You like they do, you know?
Yeah.
So can I ask a question, Rob, or no?
No, of course not. Yeah, go for it, Mel.
So has there been, because you talk about how hard it's been to pick the images, has there been an image that you guys have like disagreed on? And if so, how did you decide who got to decide the winning image or text or whatever?
I can't remember. I know one of the early cards you came up with a different image to the one I chose. And and if my memory serves me right, I just liked the image that she chose better than the one I'd started drafting with, and I went for it. But most of the time, we've been pretty much on the same page, haven't we? And Tari will often write things and then I'll edit it. But we kind of, the editing is often more about the structure of language or shortening it down or adding a bit more in. We really haven't particularly disagreed.
No.
I don't think on anything.
Except for maybe I've asked you to like adjust colours and effects and sometimes, but not
really good.
the actual image itself.
Yeah. But Tari has got this really sharp memory for detail. Tari is amazing. I appear to be pretty bright if I've got my computer in front of me and I can check things, you know. Tari, she has it. And so I rely heavily on Tari to really make sure I do piece the right bits of information together.
That's amazing. Okay, well, can we... You gave us something special that you wanted to show tonight. Should we maybe
We
do
did.
that? Yeah?
Love to.
Tell us what you brought us, Koala and Tari.
So, what one are we doing for that?
Should we do the photo competition one first?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. So we've got another card from WhatCon, from the photo competition we ran in the WhatCon Discord server. So is this the final winner?
Well, we had 3 winners, and this is the third of the 3 winners.
Yeah.
Ta-da!
We're waiting for Rob to throw it
Yes.
out.
Oh, Kari and Steve! Oh my gosh, Steve was in chat. He's still in chat.
Is Steve still in chat as well?
Oh, fantastic!
Sure.
That's
and
amazing.
Kari still here?
Is Kari in chat
Yeah,
too?
she was.
She was.
in chat earlier.
Oh, she is. Yep, I can tag her
Yes.
at least.
In fact, actually,
look at
recently,
that.
Steve and Kari commented next to each other, so isn't that just perfect?
Oh, that's
Oh,
wonderful.
yay!
Yeah.
There they are.
Steve likes
Yay!
it. And, Kari's like, me! Yeah!
Yay!
Yeah.
We are indeed the hottest fandom, right? Like look at
Yes.
this.
We are.
This is
Yeah.
so good.
So good.
Yeah.
This is just,
And
it's stunning.
the quality of the costumes at WhatCon was astounding. You know, running that photo competition meant that we just got flooded, didn't we?
It was
with
so good.
photos, and it was really hard to choose 3. But yeah, the quality of the costumes was astounding. Just a bit of a heads up for people for next year. The main thing that made it hard to choose, to pick someone as a winner in the photo competition, was the photographic quality, not the costume quality. you know, and that's because that's a whole different skill. There's one skill in being able to develop a costume and look great doing a cosplay, and there's another skill in getting a good photo of that. But Kari and Steve look fantastic, and I know that Kari is not very far along in reading the books, and so this was tricksy too, because all I want to say is we are just so delighted at having a Red Archer and an Ashaman together like that, and we just, you know, the shits and giggles we got out of that Kari is going to love one day.
So brilliant. Good.
This is it's such a great card. I love this, and as you say, like all the details you put in, like you've even got the WhatCon logo in there as well, so it's brilliant.
Yeah,
yep.
So cool.
Yeah, and just I had to make up an acronym because I haven't heard of it before, but we all know FTR, that Kari's a first-time reader,
right?
But I didn't know the acronym, so I had to make up FSR for a full series reader.
Oh, okay.
Smart.
I was going to ask what FSR meant.
I literally was struggling with that today because I posted like an invite for people who had recently finished reading the series to come join us and watch our show, and I was like, what do I call those people? It was very it was difficult.
Well, I'm happy to give the fandom a new acronym that everyone is welcome to use. FSR,
we love a good acronym.
Full series reader.
Love acronyms.
Love it.
I love TLAs.
I hope it catches on. It's good.
This is great.
Headcanon. It's headcanon now.
Yep.
So.
Yes. Okay, so we had a question from chat, from Dragon Snacks. Now, it's a very serious question, so I need you to compose.
Thank you.
Are you ready?
No.
Dragon Snacks asks, is Land's picture butt rock?
You know what, Dragon Snacks, all I can say is, how dare you have not seen our land card, because that was card number...
I lobbied for that.
That was card number 3.
You lobbied for butt rock to be on the card?
Yeah.
You did?
I did. I did.
Look, if we're going to have a death series, you know, I guess it could be another limited edition series, couldn't there? But no.
Butts and Bosoms series?
Clearly, like 30% of the cards are going to be Baron, right, Koala?
I mean, Jordan would love it.
Yeah. The problem with starting something like this is, where does it end? You know, and it is basically limitless. And Tari is actually another of the really big parts that Tari's putting into the series. Is she's actually developing an actual game. And when we come to WhatCon, we are going to have a games corner set up and be providing the cards for people to be able to play the game with the cards.
That's super cool.
That's amazing.
Has anyone here ever played Love Letter?
No.
The card
Is that
game?
the Jane Austen game?
There's all different versions, but yeah, it's gonna be based around that sort of principle. If anyone knows what Love Letter is.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
And we will be
giving Love Letter.
And we'll be giving cards
in
away.
support of hat stealers or hat lovers.
And we'll be giving cards away at the con. And the idea of it is that because there are some limited edition cards, it will be pretty easy to get the general edition cards from us, but then you'll be having to, you know, go around the con and doing quite a bit of card swapping with other people at the con to try and put together the kind of set that you want to end up with. So I have looked at the costs of, I'll probably be printing and bringing about 5,000 cards with me.
Wow.
Which is not that many when you consider if you've got several hundred people there.
Yeah.
You know, you're going to have to print a reasonable amount of cards. I might have to actually ship them over before the con rather than have it part of my luggage weight.
Yeah.
Or just have them printed in the US.
I don't know, because all printers are not equal.
Yeah.
And if I've done all of the color work with the paper type and everything, printing them here, I would die if I then sent them to the US and got them printed and they didn't look the same. So it won't cost that much really to send one box of cards by post over to the US as compared to wrangling it in the luggage. So that's where we're aiming.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Wow.
I'm just gonna say, bring them to Wakon in your luggage, then use the space on the way home to bring Usquai home.
Ooh.
I like the way you think.
This
Yeah,
is why
like-
she's the wise one.
Solid plan.
This is why she's the wise one.
Yeah.
It is.
Yes.
It is. We bow to you, wise
Yeah.
man.
All the wisdom, all the genius.
Not saying I've ever done that with other stuff.
Okay.
I mean,
love it.
priorities, right?
Right?
Indeed, yes, absolutely. So, shall we talk another reveal?
We shall.
Okay. They're your cards. I'll let you choose.
There's more than one?
Well, no, there's only one more.
There's
to
only
put
one
on
Oh,
more.
there's only one more. I don't know what I'm saying. Yeah, sorry. I'm just getting excited about showing cards now that I'm not even.
I know.
Cards.
You get a card, and you get a card, and you get a card.
Most absolutely. Okay, so throw it up on the screen, Rob, and I'll talk us through it.
I was also super
So-
excited about this card.
I know,
my
I know,
goodness.
right? What
That's
happened
better than I even
was early on after releasing the cards, Bain&Chiad approached me and said, when you release the first IEL card, we want you on the show. And so here we are. Card number 21 is Tigraine, and I really actually did spend a lot of time getting the exact facial image of Tigraine that I wanted to make this card. And I mean, let's face it, she pulled face after face that was heart-stopping.
She's incredible.
I don't know how many times I have watched that cold open.
Countless.
Right.
Not enough.
If I put it on, I can just watch it 3 or 4 times
Yeah.
in a row and then just
Absolutely.
go and walk away and I feel good now.
I wonder if that's one of the reasons that Amazon's one of the most watched is how many times all of us have just watched I'm part of that one episode in account.
Yep.
Yeah.
I think when that episode first came out, I literally was like, stop. We have to watch that again. And I watched it like 3 times in a row before I moved on with an episode I had yet to see.
Yes.
I was
watched
just
that.
ugly
I was
crying
sobbing.
through
I
the
was
whole
just-
thing. Yeah.
Just-
Tari. Yep.
Yeah.
Wow.
I was screaming uncontrollably by myself at my screen.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
That's partly why I had to watch it so many times, because I couldn't stop screaming.
Yeah, I was so Kayla watched them with me, but she would watch them the day after when she got up, whereas obviously I would stay up to watch them when they came out. So, but I was the same. I think I just was like, hold up, no, go back to the beginning, play again, and then I actually watched it. I do remember 3 times before I was like, okay, maybe I can handle the rest of the episode now. So, it was incredible.
It's the best television I have ever seen is that section, you know, just just amazing.
I felt very much the same. I think I even tweeted pretty much that phrase out. Like, I think this is the best bit of television I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah. So we've actually got a question for our amazing IEL panelists here.
Oof, I'm off the hook here. I love this. I just relax for a hot second.
Yeah, just sit back, Rob. You're right. We are really interested to know how you feel about the fact that Amazon used Tigraine Malkier as her name from the start. Really interested to know.
I didn't like it. personally. I wanted it to be Shail. Tigraine to me is royalty. So I mean, I guess I'm being like very rigid about how I want it to be, you know, the books. But you know, maybe they have a plan. So I'm not like devastated about it, but I'm curious to see if there's a reason they did that.
I actually liked that they used it because I think it makes it more accessible than having to figure out that Tigraine equals Shail equals whatever. I feel like in the story of Tigraine, her changing her name is not as significant as what she achieved by becoming a Fardar Ismai. And I don't think that the Aiel would be the kind of people that would care who someone was before. And so keeping her name as an Aiel, to me, makes sense from the perspective of the show, but still honors what she did as a character.
I agree from the show perspective, and especially if you, for the people who haven't read the books, it will streamline things potentially. And honestly, like, her name just really comes up in credits. It's not like she's introducing herself or people are calling her verbally by the name. So it's kind of more in the background that you're seeing it. But so, like, I think it streamlines, but I'm just such a big advocate about people who like sometimes you rename yourself for phases in your life, and that's important to be called by the name that you associate with. So like, yeah, I was not thrilled, but again, like, I get it. But you know, like, Shail is a very different person than Tigraine. So, and the, like, two completely different people.
That's true.
But again, like, yeah, there's only so many things that they can keep from the book. Like,
right.
Shelly, anything to add?
Not really. I've read this series, I think, 10 times, and I'm not gonna lie, it wasn't until series 4 that it finally, all those relationships actually made sense in my head, that I could like actually explain them now. So for people like me who tend to read books and forget details and not follow the convoluted little, this person's married to this person whose father was this koala bear sort of thing, like that stuff doesn't stick in my head. So when people spell it out for me, it makes it a lot better. I've never been great at the person who's like, oh, I'm solving these mysteries in this story. It's like, no, I just kind of want to read it and just be like, you know, spoon feed me a little. I'm not that smart. Like, so that's kind of, that was my opinion on it. I was like, it made it a little easier for me, or for people like me who don't follow details like that. But I hope there are enough other rewards to pay off people who are really good at like, oh, this tiny detail left this thing for this person. Like,
all of that is such character soup, especially like how all of the Andoran royalty and the Karianan royalty, and then all of these Aiel, like, wait, who's related to who and connected? And
I'm reading Malazan right now, and like, honestly, I know when he wrote the books, he was like, oh, I don't want to feed you backstory, and I'm like, you know, a little backstory would be really helpful right now. Please spell it out for me.
It's a family tree, even if there's a whole bunch of dotted lines and circles and arrows.
I'm the same. I'm reading The Grace of Kings by Ken Liu, that was recommended by Michael Kramer, and I can't keep track of the names.
No.
You know, and I'm just like, do you know what? I'm just rolling with it. I'm like, you know what? It's a good book, and I will definitely do a reread on it because I'm enjoying it. And I'll be like, I want to reread. I'll pay more attention to the names. So just at the moment, I'm just like, oh, that's the guy doing this, or that's the person doing that sort of thing. You know, like, it'll make sense.
Just get through the story.
Just get through the story. Yeah. So I totally feel you, Shelley. I'm like that. Big spoiler now. I couldn't tell the difference between Tywin and Tyrion Lannister until I watched the TV show. I was reading the books. I was like, which one's which? I can't remember.
One of my favorite books of all time is like Midnight's Children, and it's by Salman Rushdie. And when you read it, like, it's a really good story about, you know, partition and Indian history and all that stuff. And it's got so much symbolism in it that I had to read like 6 Coles notes for be like, oh, the snake represents a penis. Like, my brain just doesn't do metaphor. I read things at surface level. And so it's just like that. That's why for me, spell it out, which is a shame because I read a lot and I'm sure I miss things, but I really like when people spell things out for me.
Tari.
Oh, thank you for answering that. Like, that's really good to hear, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
You guys feel about it?
I had no problem with it. Because it was just in the credits. I don't even know how many people are even going to notice. Like, yeah, it's a convoluted thing to get around for people who haven't read the books. So I have no issue.
Yeah. I wasn't real happy at first, but after a couple of watches, I sort of thought, you know what? They don't tie that name, Tigraine Mantier, to anything in the show. So for someone who hasn't read the books yet, that has not revealed a thing to them, you know, and that's where, to me, it would have been an issue if they had already started talking about royal bloodlines and whatnot. Then some people might have gone, oh, hang on, that, you know, but that hasn't happened. So I'm sort of feeling that when the reveal comes, it's going to knock everybody over because they're still not going to have picked it up. Yeah. Even if they never use the name Shael. But you know what? That might still come in because it might be a clever thing that some of the Aiel start talking about Shael and the viewers haven't got a clue who they're talking about, because if they saw the name Tigraine, they still haven't put, you know, so they might still manage to do a lot of clever deception, you know, like just that. So that covering up of really how everything's going to connect.
So it's even possibly a deliberate choice to use Tigraine to not spoil the connection later on.
Could be. If you think about when Rand discusses heritage and things like that with I can't remember who he's asking, but basically to find out if he's related to Elaine. You know, how far along is that in the books? You think about it. So this was the credits for Tigraine in episode 7 of season 1. It could be season 4 before Rand has all that information.
He's asking Nynaeve pretty early on, and she dodges the questions. Like, she kind of talks around it, but she knows what he's asking.
Yeah, but he's not asking like royal and or.
Yeah, the one where he's like, if we were farmers, would we still be cousins? Yeah, that's the same.
Oh yeah,
exactly.
Yeah, that's
exactly.
If we were Targaryen, are we still related?
At that point, the average viewer is not going to be like, "Wait a minute, that was the name of that character from episode 7 in season 1." You know, so
that's after he conquers Camelin, and then he starts realizing all the connections.
Yes,
so, I mean, you're about halfway through the series at that point, almost.
Yeah.
When he's starting to be like, "Wait, am I allowed to be making out with Elaine?"
Yeah. Please don't let me, my sister. Please don't let me.
Exactly.
Yeah. Let's not have a Luke and Leia situation here. So.
Oh, I know.
Okay, so we do have, there was a question I saw in chat from Random Noman, and then I think we probably have to call it quits there because it is getting a bit late now. But Random Noman did ask, because, you know, why not? Have you considered doing location cards? All these extra sections you've been talking about, you know?
I know, right? Because, look, we have. Yeah. And there's another limited edition that we didn't even talk about yet, which would be a bonus edition that would be items. So, you know, the Heron Mark blade,
the dagger,
you know, the Oath.
Which dagger?
Yeah.
Which
dagger? Ruby dagger, for season 1.
Matt's dagger, Mel.
Because exactly, because then of course
you can't show that on a card. You gotta blur that out.
So, but yeah, location cards. You know, it just goes on and on. And the great thing is that even if we didn't do it this year, we can still add more bonus editions of cards in at any point when I've got nothing to do. Yeah.
Well, I mean, if you want to make your life really easy, you can do a Mashadar card that's literally just gray.
You'd be like, "Here, Tari, I've done my part of it. Do your bit." That's great. I love that. Thank you, Shelly. Well, thank you, Koala and Tari, for joining us and driving 2.5 hours at like 5 in the morning to be on the show. This is amazing. Folks, so the cards just released on your Twitter account, Koala, or I know they get
on my account and on Tari. We usually throw them a few places into some of the Discord, onto Facebook groups. Yeah.
Nice. So go hunting around, folks, depending on what platform you're on. I always see them when they're on Twitter. But I mean, Koala also tags me, which is very helpful because I'll be like, yay, more cards, and then retweets and things of that nature. But if you aren't following Koala or Tari, I'll get you added in because I wasn't familiar with your Twitter handle, but I did put Koala in the show description. So you can go and follow, and then you see when the cards come out and see the previous cards if you scroll through the media section. Tonight has been such a blast, hasn't it? I don't know about anyone else.
So much fun.
I've been dying of laughter. I mean, we've already got a future show idea for the creature feature. And I don't know. I think we just have to have you back at some point again because this is hilarious.
I mean, we like games, and they have a game they're creating, so
yeah,
I know.
And we have a game we can play with you.
The game here?
Yeah.
We even set up a game for tonight, and then we had so much fun. Even like just the news segment was fun. That was before we even got to Fear the Spear. Like, what are we doing? So you'll have to come back and play the game that we set up. That Bain&Chiad put together for us. Dragon Snacks asked what Discord you put the cards in usually, Koala, when you do that.
So I'll often throw them into a ton of Discords into I haven't put many up Dusty Wheel lately. I need to put a heap on the Malkier Discord.
Yep, there's an artwork section you can throw them into.
I've got permissions to put them in there. Yeah.
Good. Yeah.
And on I can't even remember half the ones that were on Nablus. Wheel Weaves. Yeah.
Nice. So they are around, folks. If you can't find them, then hit someone up, and we will send you in the right direction.
We'll get you linked in.
Exactly. So, but I think we're gonna have to sign up there. Before we go, I'm gonna do one more reminder, folks, that you need to come back. You need to be here every week, obviously, because it's most fun. But just a reminder from earlier in the show: next Saturday night is the Twitter of Time Awards. So you need to be checking that out. That will be on the Wheel Reads YouTube channel. That'll be posted around a lot on Discord servers and on Twitter, so you need to remember that. Put in your calendar for the 3rd of December for What a Holiday and just 24 hours of chaos and fun. Seriously, that's going to be a lot of fun. That's here on the Malkier Talks YouTube channel. And then in 3 weeks' time, on November 17th at 9 p.m. Eastern, you need to be here because we will be doing a full spoilers discussion with Dr. Michael Livingston all about the origins of the Wheel of Time. That's going to be... We're going to keep him on as long as we can. I don't know about anybody else, but like, dudes, like, Michael, how long can we have you for? Oh, yeah, we'll just keep
put his stamina
that
to
out.
the test.
Oh, yes.
May or may not have to take Friday morning off.
Yeah. That's not a bad shout, actually, folks. That's not a bad shout for you watching as well, folks, because we will probably end up going long. We know what we like. So, but that's it for us from this week. So, Koala, Tari, thank you again for joining us. It has been awesome.
Thank you for having us.
Anytime. Chat, thank you. You've been great, hilarious. Kev,
shout out, Kev.
Some of those comments, man. But
which
then, like, which Kev? Angus Kev? Not Shelly's Kev. He's kept it pretty chill, probably because he's worried about why is One Shelly throwing that loaf of bread at his head afterwards. You shouldn't do that. No, I'm joking. But no, it's been brilliant. Thank you everyone for joining us, and come and see us again next week. And until then, may you always find water. Sorry, love. What is it? Love. No, because I changed it. I changed it. We changed it. It's may you always find love, water, and shades. So, bye everyone.
Bye.